What up, family? It's your boy Amaru back with another episode of One Gotta Stay. I'm very excited about this one. 90s babies, we are back, and people who appreciate the 90s as well. I wasn't actually born in the 90s, but I was raised in the 90s, and then some other people on here were born in the 80s. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm gonna just stop right there. Just start introducing everybody on this panel, and we'll go that away first. And we will go with Mr. Ryan Purvison, back for another one. I knew you were going to be the first one to email me once I put 90s in there. And at first you thought we were talking about theme songs only.
So did I.
Yeah, I had to do some rearranging, but whatever, it happens. But yeah, I'm happy to be here, man. You know, born in the 80s, raised in the greatest decade of them all, known as the 1990s. I'm just here to have fun, man. Let's do it.
All right. And then I guess you're going to be on with Bill like 3, 4, 5 times this week. This is Anthony. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm going to see Bill 3 times in like a week span, so it's going to be awesome. And he's making me watch horrific things. But I look forward to this. I've actually rewatched all of these within like the past 6 months when Disney Plus came out with all of it, so I'm fairly recent on most of them. But when I saw that, I was like, yep, I'm getting my name in here as quickly as possible.
Then there you go. The second person I thought of, probably actually concurrently with Brian. Yes, my older brother, the man I watch all these shows with, Mr. Emmanuel Manny Moses. How you doing, sir? You no longer have the quarantine beard and all of that. It's just you.
Yeah, I finally made it to a barber. But also, it's so much easier. No more catching food in the beard. It's just so much easier. But yeah, I'm excited. I also think I have the door locked. If not, your niece and nephew will come in. I think they might be watching me right now, but excited to talk about this. And it doesn't matter what decade you were born in. Greatness is greatness, even though it is about 80s babies, and that's all that matters. But yeah.
I am very excited for this next man. I've been waiting for him to put a list in, and the second he put a list in, I was like, there's no way he's not on this show. This was made for him. Yell at people because they're wrong. Bill, how you doing?
I'm so thrilled to be here. I was told I need to be like at an 11 at all times. So if me at a 6, I will get there. But no, I'm very happy to be here. You know, this is nice. As soon as I saw this, I was like, this is the easiest thing in the world. I'm like, this was the super easiest top 4 ever for me. So I look forward to yelling at everybody and berating them verbally. And that's all I got, I think. Yeah. There we go.
All right. And last but not least, as Ryan likes to say, in the disco room at the moment, but it's all good. Chris Diaz. Chris, how you doing, sir?
Doing good. I actually was born in 90. I was born in 1991, so I grew up with a lot of these shows, actually. But yeah, looking forward to talk about some really great show and one good show, but not great show. But yeah, this will be a fun one.
Already starting, but I'm gonna wait until we get to that point. We mentioned the shows. Let me tell you what they actually are. It's 4 of the greatest cartoons to ever be created. 90s, and we got Gargoyles with Sir Keith David, one of the greatest voice actors ever. Batman the Animated Series, which I did mention in my clue, but 2 of the greatest voice actors ever in Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. X-Men the Animated Series, and which something I'll talk about later, and the 1990s Spider-Man. This one was very difficult. I think I changed my list maybe 3, 4, 5 times. But let's just get straight into it. Bill, you're going to go first. Can you tell us what you have going out first? What is your number 4 in all of this?
Well, as the only person on this panel born in the 1970s, you can all kiss my ass.
Age before
there is
beauty.
an easy reason why this is my number 4, and before you all get a wild hair up your ass, let me explain. My number 4 is Gargoyles, for the simple fact, this is a blind spot I have never fixed. I've never seen it. So,
I guess that makes sense.
Remedy that.
Yeah, you do need
I've heard all the things everyone's going to tell me, like what a fantastic story it is, just like great show, Keith David, among other people. Just it's one of those things I never got around to fixing because you can only watch so much in your life. So I had to watch Hard Ticket to Hawaii again recently. And And I can feel the pain. It gives me life, the agony that you have for that.
Watch Gargoyles instead.
Yeah, no, I'll get there eventually one day. So, but that's mine. That's the only reason why. So,
watch Open Night Trigger League. By the way, they will be in a match later. But with that, we'll make it easy. Anybody else have Gargoyles as their number 4?
No.
No.
Whoa!
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Sorry, Santina. I do. I also have Gargoyles number 4, and it hurts me. I will tell you, it was number 2 like 3 days ago. It was number 2 like 3 days ago, and then I just kept thinking. Bill, you've had almost 50 years to watch it. So
first off, I've only had 42 years to watch it.
But
I'm not gonna watch that shit now. Just for that.
That's a
Go
great
to my
comment,
face.
D. I love it. I love it, man.
It hurts. It hurts that I had to put this last. But really thinking through things, I can't say much more because you'll see later. But Chief David is so amazing. This show is amazing, but all the other 3 I kind of grew up on a little bit more. And my next one barely missed it for a reason. And one reason alone when I thought about it, it hurts. Gargoyles is sorry.
I take full responsibility for this. This is my fault. I should have done better. I'm so sorry. Should have brought him up, but I apologize, everyone. I'm so sorry.
Apology is accepted. It happens. Bill, I need you to grow up and watch a 90s children's cartoon. Okay? That's what's going to need to happen.
Just a good show.
I got nothing else really on that. I can't slander this show. It just happens to be number 4. Re-listening to that theme song just gave me goosebumps.
It's pretty good.
I think somebody had mentioned that there is no wrong choice to save here, and I think one list I have come up with that I agree with wholeheartedly. Nothing is wrong saving. 4th?
Yeah.
You might be wrong on one of them. But still, there's nothing wrong saving it. Bill, as much as they give you crap, it is an amazing show. Gosh, let's just move on to the next one before I cry anymore. So I don't know what the hell that was. But next, I heard sounds. Sorry. Next, we're going to Manny. Manny, what is your number 4?
So not Gargoyles. But for me, it's also painful. I would have to go with Spider-Man. I'm gonna have to go with Spidey.
Oh.
Why? I don't know. I know. So listen, it's just the one that it's this idea that if it has to leave and is never in existence, I'm all right with it. Like, I'm okay with it. I also broke it down later on by like the people who were the actors, and all I can think of off the top of my head is Alfonso Ribeiro. That's it. But that's the only one I can think of. But like the stories, even the Secret Wars like theme and then storyline was sort of forgettable. It didn't give me the feels. I love the Venom saga. It was great. But still, compared to all of these other shows, it was just like, all right, I'll get something else later on. But if these other shows leave, it's just a bigger... Now, don't get me wrong. Spider-Man and Q, if you're watching this, and that nonsense of Spider-Man losing out in your poll, Spider-Man is still brilliant and amazing. It is better than anything. I can't talk about Spider-Man as Amazing Friends because I wasn't born in a certain decade. Not saying anything, but listen, but it's just the one that has to go. It's the one that has to go out of the 4.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Did anybody else have Spider-Man going 4th?
I got you.
Yeah.
And like I said, like Ru said, I had my list go back and forth like 15 times. I had Spider-Man like 2nd, 4th, 3rd, everywhere. But after thinking about, because I probably watched this one the most recently, going through it, I remember being so ungodly bored during that whole Noro whatever sequence when he turned into a freaking spider and they ruined Morbius and made him some kind of a weird joke. The Mary Jane, spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't seen this. The end of it when they made, if you haven't seen this in the 90s, I'm sorry, Gargoyles, we've already bypassed your lucky.
Spoiler alert for a 33-year-old show, but here we go.
In the end, when they made, like, they had Mary Jane, she disappeared, and she came back, and guess what? She was freaking water. Oh my God, what a terrible, terrible thing that was. Way to ruin it. The Clone Wars area was horrible. That was weird. They had a cool little cameo at the end, but overall, there's too many of those sequences that just they strung along. It felt like a soap opera after a while. I was like, if I watch this episode and I watch episode 10 later, I still know what's happening because nothing has changed. He's still sort of a spider, like with an extra arm, and he still needs to get this weird gun thing that Morbius has, and then he gets it back, and then Morbius gets it, and then the Lizard has it. I get it. The gun's important. Finish the storyline. Move on. They did a great job with a lot of the characters. The Kingpin, Hobgoblin, they were fun. They were entertaining, but it droned on a little too much for me compared to some of these other ones. Like, I have more comparisons later on, but that's the main thing with Spider-Man for me. That was kind of why it's got to go forth.
It's the best Venom we've kind of gotten. It's the
only good Venom we've ever gotten.
But hold up, it's the only Venom we've gotten animated.
Don't put him
in anything. I mean,
anything Spider-Man related, that's to me is the best adaptation outside of the comic books of Venom we've ever seen.
How many episodes was Venom on for the 5 seasons?
3, 4, maybe.
Congratulations. So we got 4 good episodes in a 5-season thing. That's why Spider-Man is 4th.
Okay,
it doesn't matter. It still makes it a great story arc.
It does, but there's but I can't talk about the other ones that have better story arcs than this one.
But we got, again, we have my Spider-Man, Tom Holland, is based off of this Spider-Man. Like, the best alter ego we period. How he acts, where he comes from. This is who I like. Screw Toby. Andrew Garfield's okay. But me, like, saying Tom Holland is Spider-Man is because he reminds me the most of the 90s Spider-Man. On top of just all of the great characters and villains. The feelings I have for this is I grew up on that, as you know, man, even though you're looking at me like I'm crazy. I just feel
the 90s Spider-Man was in college. How does high school Tom Holland remind you of college?
Character-wise.
I'm so confused.
You can be.
He wasn't awkward. He was a grown-ass man going to there was nothing childlike about that Peter Parker for me. There was nothing.
It's about the quips, the quips, and the being able to just go back and forth and have a little bit of awkwardness. Look, that's where I have it from. That's my
amazing.
Aren't the quips from the comic books?
So let me get the heat off for you guys because they probably go on me. So whenever I talk about Great Show and just Great Show, this was kind of the good but not Great Show for me because I'm a Spider-Man guy, love Spider-Man. I think one of the biggest disadvantages is they were not putting him in high school. I think for me, while it was great to see X-Men, to see Daredevil, to see a bunch of the people we would love, Captain America, kind of took away from what made Spider-Man great, the intimate story. That is a huge disadvantage lost for the show. I think a better Spider-Man show, I know they're kind of saying something, it doesn't come out to the next decade. The Spectacular Spider-Man, I thought did a much better job of juggling Peter Parker and Spider-Man and the injury, what he dealt with. Really underrated show. It only lasted 2 seasons, but I also like Ultimate Spider-Man more in the 90s around. But it just showed, the music's great. I'm not kidding. And most of the villains are great. It's just the stupid stuff, the started jamming a lot of that Marvel character until it kind of took away the character development for Peter, Mary Jane. I see other Spider-Man show does it better, especially in terms of Flash, Liz, and all of the friends from high school. Once again, Spectacular Spider-Man to me much better show, but I do love Spider-Man and Mary for the music, for the animation for back in time. It just compared to the rest of the list, it would force for me for a lot of reasons, especially since I've seen a lot of the other Spider-Man shows about.
If I may. Spoiler alert, this was my number 3. And this was an easy number 3. Because I, like everybody else, went back and watched this again. I was like, oh, wow, Disney Plus has this. And about 847 chapters into the Neogenic Nightmare, I was like, oh, my God. What is this? Like, oh, my God. This is aging really poorly, really quickly. And the only reason, so here's a couple things. I actually appreciate their version of the Clone Saga more, only because it didn't drag on for 8 years. It didn't get revealed. It was nonsensically Norman Osborn. So kudos to them for that. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it's kind of hokey. Like it's just not holding up very well. And the main reason why I'd be all right if this went away forever, and then the only reason why this wasn't 4 is because I haven't seen my number 4, is we already got better versions of this. We got the greatest version, animated version in Into the Spider-Verse, Fight Me. And we even got a better animated show in the Spectacular Spider-Man. You guys are complaining about Venom. You got the best Venom ever. And, unpopular opinion, their version of Eddie Brock, 1,000,000 times more compelling than the comic book version of Eddie Brock. That's how you know your show is doing the right job. It actually made a more sympathetic, more well-rounded, and Venom's boring. Just so we're clear, it is 90s horse shit, and I just can't. But what else is there? I hate Spider-Man, and I'm going to go to the lift weights, bro. And that's Eddie Brock. There you go. So making him but I'm getting off because I'm just going to sing the praises of Spectacular Spider-Man because it's humanity. We haven't gotten more seasons of that.
Well, because we actually agree on something.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you. That's why I could easily just chuck this, and I'd be fine with it because I already got better versions of this show in movies and in TV.
You guys haven't seen Spectacular Spider-Man? Check it out. It should not hate that kind of song. Should have got a couple seasons.
Ryan,
Chris, I'm assuming you also had Spider-Man number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't see your hand when you
he's
said
in a
that.
disco room. We can't tell what's going on.
Is that what that is? I thought he was filming in a cup of piss.
There you go.
Hey, guy I don't know. Super good. Cool.
Oh, nice. All right. So then with that, Ryan, you're next. What is your number 4?
Number 4.
Spider-Man.
Well, all right, let's break the internet if it hasn't been broken 3 times already in the last 10, 15 minutes with those picks, gentlemen. My God. Anyway, number 4, I'll toss this one out the window. Batman the Animated Series.
Cut his fucking mic. Cut his fucking mic right now. Cut his fucking mic. Everything you say is horse shit.
How is it? Thank you.
Come on.
What's wrong with you?
Every time, man. Every time. Every time.
Where did you get the crack? And how much was it? And can I have some so I can understand what is even remotely close to your thought process?
Look, I took out Batman the Animated Series because after rewatching it, there were a lot of episodes where I just either I couldn't get through them all or I skipped over because it's just I don't feel the synopsis or some of the episodes aren't as strong as some of the other episodes within the series itself. So that's why for me it's at number 4. I don't think the series as a whole, if I can sit down and watch every single episode and not get bored, that's a great accomplishment. But there were some episodes of Batman the Animated Series I was like, okay, it's not as good as the last one, or it's not as good as another episode I saw at another season or another episode featuring a different kind of set of characters or whatever. So for me, Batman the Animated Series is being thrown out first. And this is coming from a DC fan, but I'm sorry, Batman.
Are you though? Like for real though?
The happiness of Spider-Man the Animated Series over Batman.
So wait, hold on. Everyone, let's hit the pause button real quick. So you went, oh, you know what? I want to watch the episode where the fucking Spot shows up in the animated series because this is good quality writing. Oh, Rocket Racer, here we go. That's so much better than like the Dr. Freeze episode or anything happening.
Oh man, that was good.
But no, that's fine. That's cool.
No, the Mr. Freeze episodes are great. Don't get me wrong.
Still being wrong.
Oh, I could have got them episodes when the villain talked about.
That's what I'm here for, Rue. I'm here to break the internet, man.
Yeah, nobody. I already know nobody else has Batman going
because that's an incorrect move.
At all.
Well, hey, Anthony, that's just like your opinion, man.
It's always got to be one. It's always got to be one.
You found a way to find one, so kudos.
It's got to be one.
It's true. You know what? Way to take your stand. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's wrong, but took your stand. Good for you.
I'm gonna.
It's out there already. You can't take it back.
Yeah, you can't.
I made my choice, man. I made my choice.
I'm gonna make this quick. As we saw, Manny, Anthony, and Chris have Spidey out first. Me and Bill have Gargoyles out first, which hurts my heart. And Bill, please don't see it. And Ryan did have Batman out fourth. So I'm gonna go next. And y'all know how I said like Gargoyles was 2, and I moved things around, and there was one reason why like things changed. The only reason my number 3 is not my number 4 is Mark Hamill, because Batman's my number 3.
Oh, wow.
See?
Okay.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
I failed. I have failed.
Yeah.
I have failed.
I am sorry.
See, I'm not that crazy.
I forgot about Mark Hamill because Batman was number 4 for a second. And then I remembered Mark Hamill and I remembered the Joker. When somebody said that, I was like, I can't do that. There's no haggling for. But just the memories I had growing up is when I'll tell you the truth, Manny. Anytime you watch Batman, I was like,
yeah, no.
Can we move on here? Can we I like it, but the other 2 were just my thing. It was much more fun to me. It was much more anytime Batman came on. As I got older, it's not a better show. I enjoyed Batman Begins more than I enjoyed Batman the Animated Series.
Boo.
That's fair. That's
enjoyed.
Boo.
Batman the Animated Series is it's probably one of the greatest cartoons of all time. But it's as you said, if I can live without it, I have never gone back. I get my Batman. I saw Justice League. I got my Batman in Justice League. That's fine. I couldn't. It's nothing that I remember going back to. I cannot lose the other 2. Period.
Here's the thing about that. If you take Batman out, the thing that I go back to when it comes to the animated series is Mask of the Phantasm. To me, that's like the pinnacle of that series. And that's not even in the show. That's a movie.
Based on the series.
Yeah, but still, it's like separate from the. Even though it's based off the series, it's still
not
separate.
To point out, you don't get one without the other.
Yeah, if the series would happen, then the movie. I feel like I had to fight on this about this exact same situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume I'm the only one who has Batman out in 3rd place.
Yeah.
So, real quick, serious note, Ryan, Ru, who hurt you? This is a safe place. You can tell me who did this.
The answer is nobody hurt me.
Because he got correct opinions.
Blame the man over there. That direction.
What man? This guy?
You know what? This will make it a lot easier for me.
Blame him. Okay, cool.
Right there.
There you go.
It's not my fault.
Blame him.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Manny's fault.
Good.
Yep.
So you would rather have crazy murder Batman than Kevin Conroy?
Oh.
Because Ben Affleck.
I don't know if I want.
And I'm not blaming him.
Oh.
I know who I squarely put that blame on.
I'm sorry. When you said Justice League, I thought you meant the Justice League cartoon Batman,
which was amazing. Which was amazing.
I'm talking about the cartoon.
Okay, I was
make that very, very clear.
You never got Justice League Batman you're talking
I'm
about.
with you now. I'm back.
You made that jump so far to get rid of the animated series. I thought you had to be going to the shitty ass movie.
Justice League animated series is pretty darn good, bro.
I am sorry.
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy is in the Justice League animated series.
Yes,
I can do that. That does it for me. Not that shitty ass movie that even though I love him as a director.
We're going to continue hosting a show.
We're good. We're still good. It's fine.
Okay. Do you guys just hate like deep, compelling stories? Because that's what Batman the Animated Series had half the time. Like compelling stories, but you just please. Like
It depends on the episode, Chris. Depends on the episode.
Yes, they're compelling, but do I want to go back to them? There's a show that is that is compelling and I want to go back to. So yeah.
Now,
I mean, we watched this, Ryan, which is lovely.
Well, I weep for the future. I don't know about you, Internet. So
I prefer the campiness of Spider-Man over the seriousness of Batman. Just think.
Yes. In the series, yes, because that's what I grew up on as a kid. If I would watch these, if I started watching these as adults, it'd be a different story. But this is full nostalgia here. This is full.
I don't take blame. You were born earlier. That's it. 3-year-old, 4-year-old Amadou couldn't register the beauty that was that. That's not my fault anymore. Nope. I don't take blame anymore.
Fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. With that, we're gonna move on to Chris. Chris, what is your number 3?
Okay, before anybody hate me, I do love this show. It's just between this and number 2, Rebecca. I'm going with X-Men the anime series just because I like number 2 a little bit.
Wait. Did you just say X-Men?
X-Men.
Okay, yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. That's not happening. I love that I can control this.
Oh.
Gosh. Okay, fine, Chris, go ahead.
Okay.
How dare you, Chris?
The only
How dare you?
reason why I ever say it, I love X-Men. I like number 2 a little bit more because I won't say it because we can't talk about number 2 yet. Because it's just like X-Men is great. It also because maybe I just need to go back and rewatch more of it. I love the X-Men show. It's animated wise, story wise, great. It's right up there with the other shows we mentioned before with Batman. Like a great story and intimate story. Many of the great the apocalypse stuff.
I know, right?
Yeah, everything is so good. It's just like it hurt me because like 2 and 3 would go back and forth because I love both of these so much to my heart.
No,
And if it's not about music, then X-Men would be number 2. Number 2 to edge it out by this much. And I love my top 3 like so much to my heart as a 9 kid. So
it's hurting him right now just to say that. So
yeah,
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Again, this one is very close. You didn't put it 4. That is the only wrong answer in any of this. No matter what these 4 gentlemen say, the only wrong answer.
There were 2 wrong answers for 4.
yeah, there's 2 wrong answers.
Whatever.
I'll take a. You know what? I'll take a page from the Bill playbook. Chris, who hurt you?
hey, no, that's copyright. It's copyright.
number 2 is just like by 1 inch. Like it's like that.
1 inch at a time, Chris. 1 inch at a time.
Does anybody else has X-Men out number 3?
No one would be crazy enough to put that at number 3.
Absolutely not.
Ryan, you can't make comments. You put Batman out at 4.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I know. Really, you're gonna.
That's
like,
because I wanted to break the internet, Manny, and I just did that.
Yeah, well, 2 people broke the internet. It's double broken now.
Yeah, that's like a coke addict pulling a crack fiend, a drug addict. Like, come on.
I will say, like Chris, Batman was it was the only thing that was clear for me is something later is my number 1. That's the only clear one. Everything else was there. Knowing that, I think we're going back to Manny now. Manny, what is your number 3?
Sorry, it's Gargoyles. So Gargoyles is number 3 because, as you can tell, the other 2 are just like there. But Gargoyles, I have to justify why it beats out like Spider-Man, besides many of the amazing reasons that Bill again, Anthony talked about.
His name's Anthony.
It's for me. It was, of course, we can talk about voice actors. We've got Keith David. You also have, and as far as nobody talked about race, but the Gargoyles were black. As far as I'm concerned, all of them were. And Keith David was, and yes, I know you have Patrick from SpongeBob doing the voice of Broadway, but you've also got Ed Asner. hell, you've got Gimli later on, you've got the Pack, but just the stories in general. And to be honest, Kingpin is the shit, but Thanatos in Gargoyles will mop the floor with anybody and everyone. It was the show. And yes, it sort of felt sometimes like it may have jumped the shark, but then they made it work again. They made it work more and more. It is just, and also it was great because you and I left New York when we were small, so we could have things that we tied to with that shit. So that's a personal thing, but it was a hard one to. No, it wasn't. Never mind. That was easy. It doesn't break. It doesn't break the top two. And then I was like, Spider-Man. Do I want to watch it again? Maybe. But yeah, it was. Yeah, Gargoyles is number 3.
Really?
Also, Keith David, Rent-A-Cops. I hate Rent-A-Cops too. Come on.
Oh, you're just making me nostalgic for Men at Work now. Come on.
Thank you.
God, yes. Oh yeah.
Steve David is again, he's the top, one of the top voice actors to ever do it. And yes, Gargoyles was 2 at one point. It was 2 at one point, and then it's an amazing show. Everything he said is absolutely true. We already know Bill has Spider-Man as number 3. So I believe that's everybody.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So who has Gargoyle? Anybody else from Gargoyles is number 3? Well, then there you go. Go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I mean it's at what was it? Manny explained it pretty well, but my 2 cents on it is I put it above Batman because the mythology is so good, the voice acting's good. There's some good episodes there, good story. It's somewhat in certain episodes better story building than others. So yeah, Gargoyles is good, and plus the theme song. I mean, come on, if that doesn't entrance you to watch the freaking series alone, I don't know what will. So yeah, Bill, you got homework to do, man.
I just agree. I just thought it wasn't as good as Spider-Man, and it's not as good as the other ones. Really, Gargoyles had the beginning of that was very good. I really enjoyed just the whole situation with him and the his girl at the beginning, and everything that happened at the very beginning of that show was excellently done to start that first season. It did get a little weird sometimes, but it just bypassed Spider-Man in overall but it's not as good as the top 2. So it's 3. It's probably the one I've watched the least recent of all 3, but it's still great though.
Yeah. Bill, you said Spidey is 3. Anything you need to add on to Spidey saying that is your number 3?
I mean, watch it again. You'll see what I'm talking about. Why is Electro a friggin' Nazi? What is going on here? Why is Hobgoblin showing up before the Greek guy? That don't make no goddamn sense. How do you get all of these things wrong? All right. I got one thing right, and just so we're clear, Kingpin's black because he is, and it's just the way it should be. He did it right. Michael Clark Duncan did it right. Let's just leave it that way. It's just my own personal opinion. So
Richard D'Onofrio,
He was great too.
No, he's great, but that's just how it grew up for me. I feel like he should be that. So yeah.
All right. So going into our final 2, me and Ryan both have X-Men and Spider-Man as our top 2. Chris has Gargoyles and Batman, and Bill, Manny, and Anthony have Batman and X-Men as their 1 and 2. So now we're going to put the numbers up to see how many people saved what. So we have 1 person who saved Spider-Man, 2 people who saved X-Men, and 3 people who saved Batman. Damn, Gargoyles. All right. Well, they
put up a valiant effort.
Yes, it did. The person who picked Spider-Man as their number 1. You're on the island. Go ahead and say why you say Spider-Man over everything else.
All right, I'll tell you why.
Wrong again.
I'll tell you why.
I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
I know, right? This night just got more amazing because of me. So anyway, the reason.
Cut my mic. Cut mine. I'm just gonna say
exactly the reason The reason I have Spider-Man as number 1 on this particular list is because after rewatching these series respectively, Spider-Man, I was never bored, never skipped an episode, nothing ever took me out of the series, nothing that happened like wigged me out as much as some other series with other episodes that they did. This series, I watched it all the way through, and I loved it to pieces. And I hope one day I get to meet Christopher Daniel Barnes, because he voiced Spider-Man so well. The suit looks great, the animation's great, all the actors on the show I think did a fantastic job. When you get Mark Hamill as Hobgoblin, you can never go wrong.
How dare you? How
You can never
dare
go
you?
wrong with Mark
How
Hamill as a
dare
voiceover
you?
in the series to throw him in. So, Spider-Man, I never got bored, man. I could watch that series all the way through and still enjoy the heck out of it. And yes, did it leave us on a cliffhanger that never got resolved? Yes, it does. But still, good series, good theme song, good characters. I dig it. So there's your word on Spider-Man. I know. The entire comment section wants me to burn at the stake. I know.
Burn the stake, but man, like,
Cliffhanger.
what?
But technically, Spider-Man had much better cliffhanger.
Well, we're gonna just go straight into it now. Me and Anthony kept X-Men, and then Bill, Kenny, and Chris kept Batman.
Wow.
I mean, for me, in general, this makes no sense, but I don't care. There was no even choice between X-Men and Spider-Man. X-Men is beating Spider-Man every single day of the week. It is actually closer to Batman than Spider-Man. I was very surprised that anybody kept Spider-Man. I thought Gargoyles possibly could have picked by one person. I knew it was going to be Batman and X-Men. So, Ryan, I don't know what you're talking about. But the greatest theme song of all time beats everything. And it's not just the theme song. Yeah. It's the entirety of that show, the entire history that it just creates. It's just the lessons and the entertainment. It has both. What Batman lacks in the rewatchability, X-Men has in the compelling stories and the rewatchability. And my ringtone for a couple years.
that's
Your ringtone.
Rue, I'm glad someone else has the right sense of mind to put X-Men as number 1. X-Men is definitely the best of these. Batman is close. Batman has some great episodes. Like the Heart of Ice, or I think that's pretty much what it was called, is one of the best animated episodes of all time. X-Men, though, did very good sequences. They brought in the comics into the animated and didn't stretch it out 20 episodes like Spider-Man did. They kept it to a nice 6 max. So you could get your Dark Phoenix saga, you could get the Apocalypse saga, all things that they completely jacked up in the movies.
Oh, gosh.
You watch this again, you're like, oh, why didn't the movies do this? They brought in the Savage Land and even made that interesting. They could bring in all these different, interesting, not great, interesting. It wasn't perfect. But the show itself, like Rue was saying, they always, thank you, was fantastic.
Thank you for the support, Christina. I do have some words for X-Men in a bit here.
Well, she has no support. Fantastic. Anyway, it's just better than most of the others. With Batman, the only issue I have with Batman is there are 2 better episodes other than Heart of Ice than any of the other animated series. And one from the new Batman Adventures with the daughter of Clayface, and one from the Justice League with the Ace of Spades. Those 2 episodes are absolutely heart-wrenching, but they are not in the animated series. The animated series brought you Heart of Ice and Harley Quinn, and other than that, it's really good, great voice acting, and it's a fun show. But X-Men just brought more to the table.
Oof.
With X-Men, when I had to skip over some, to me, what I thought were filler episodes when Magneto and Xavier are in the Savage Land, I'm like, dude, come on. And then I skipped a few episodes with the Morlocks. It's like, okay, 1 episode with them is good, maybe 2, but they had a couple more episodes than they should have. It's like when I need to skip over a few episodes of certain arcs in a series, it's not good, man. I need 100% satisfaction guaranteed. That's what I got with Spider-Man outside of X. But I love X-Men. I love it to pieces, but Spider-Man slightly takes it over X-Men. That's why I put X-Men at number 2. But the theme song is great, no question.
Yeah. 65 episodes of the Neo Genesis Nightmare did it for you.
That's right, Johnny. That's right, Johnny. It did. So shut up.
What?
Batman. I still have X-Men as my ringtone. It's not going away
That's
at
awesome.
all.
That's great. It's one of the best theme songs of all time.
Marvel
Facts.
over DC every day, consistently. Batman is my little nugget. But just 2 words. The one thing that Anthony said, what? Mr. J. Mark Hamill's greatest role of all time.
Yeah.
Fuck Luke. I don't even know he did the Hobgoblin, but the Joker, period. That is his greatest role. Without that, I love Jack Nicholson. I do. And Romero. But without that, we don't have Heath. We don't have Joaquin's weird ass shit. That in of itself makes it better than X-Men. Also, to the point of view, Amaru, it's the first real, like, mature, like, you don't put that as a kid's show. The story that we're talking about Mr. Freeze, but every single episode had more gravitas than anything else. Also, X-Men, the reason why I could put it out is because we say it's great, but let's not forget those last couple of shitty episodes, like Jubilee's Fairy Tale. There were some of those episodes towards the end where they could have kept that shit. But Batman, the animated series, across the board, is just the pinnacle of animated series. I could have had a conversation about Samurai Jack, but that's neither here nor there. But I think just alone, Mark Hamill, because when I found out that it was Luke, I was like, why the hell do I care about anything else that he does? He was a great cockknocker. That was great as well. But he is Mr. J beyond anything else in that of itself. He only did 15 episodes. I had to Google that. There was only 15 episodes. And that in of itself puts it definitely above Spidey. Yes, Wilson Fisk was the truth, but just his portrayal, his laugh by itself. I will put his laugh, sacrilege, but his laugh up next to the theme song for X-Men. I will put that there.
Oof.
Hand in hand. Also because he did that shit to Trump recently, and that was hilarious and beautiful. But I'm sorry. I think if there was no, it's the same reason why The Dark Knight is the best superhero movie over. It's because of Heath Ledger's Joker. Yes, that's not a conversation. It's because of Mark Hamill's Batman. It is. That's what it is. So
Mark Hamill himself couldn't get it above Spider-Man for me. Like I absolutely love that Joker. He's probably the best character in all of these series. But again, just the entire I have no connection to it. I did not make a connection. X-Men, I made a connection. I like even as an adult, I'm like I'm good. Yeah, I know you're amazing. If it was about the best show, X-Men and Batman would be neck and neck. I'd probably still pick X-Men anyway, but I would not argue against it. This is what I'm keeping. And I'm not going back to Batman. I just really aren't. So
I had Batman in my number one and Joker in my number two. These are probably like top my top three I love to death. Batman is a lot of reason. Like when you say beside Hot and Ice, I would also say looked it up when we were Push into Dream when Batman wake up when his parents still alive. Really made the episode. I could have got them where the villain talked about how they could have beat Batman. It's a very funny episode. Kill Cop, I threw a rock at him. Like it's just like but it does best I think over all the other ones. It gave the villain dimension. Like they spend time when you to feel sympathy for them, like Clayface, like Two-Face. Like even Harley Quinn, even Poison Ivy, they get dimension to them. I don't see a lot of superior animated show that you sympathize. And Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy is Batman. He is without doubt the best Batman did. Like his dimensions he brings, even to the movie like Master Phantom, my favorite Batman scene in any scene over will be him begging at his parents' grave to let him go, let him be happy for once. And it Kevin Conroy's voice and what he does. And all the character wonderfully voiced acted. The animation's good. It introduced back in Robin really well. Two-Face episode, like I like that they don't give you Two-Face right away. They Bill Harvey then leading up to Two-Face, and you see the friendship between him and Batman, and the contract had to become Two-Face. That Batman really wanted to help him get better. A really good episode with Two-Face actually here, but still had the contract of the coin that he still Two-Face without even the face. Like there's so much I could talk about Batman animation. Also, that opening animation title sequence ever, like that animation title, like holy, that had
All
a-
four of them have
Yeah.
amazing openings and songs. You talked about villains, and I can't help. But first off, you have Magneto, who's one of the best villains ever. You have the Sentinels, who scared the crap out of me. You have a great. I just get past the Sentinels. Apocalypse was absolutely amazing. You talked about, but I cannot ever forget is the first time. One, Wolverine is my favorite character, one of my favorite characters ever. Eddie, it is your favorite character.
It is.
But the Lady Deathstrike and Omega Red just stories itself, I vividly remember being scared as shit of Omega Red. I was just like, I don't know who this character is. And then I saw him and I never forgot him ever. The gamut of villains that go in X-Men over one. I don't remember anybody else from Batman. Like to that point that I am like remembering them with that much heart outside.
I think also, like, with X-Men and Spider-Man and Red Dog gonna have no other show, but they went on to have a great show. Batman is the animated series, still is the Batman animated series. Yeah, Batman Beyond is good for what it was, but the Batman was great. A lot of the other Batman shows are okay, but the Batman animated series is still the essential Batman. Now, Justice League, but it's connected a lot to the Batman animated series. It's what we think of Batman. Mark Hamill is like, he's the Joker, his laugh and creepiness. He went on to great effect with Joker with the Arkham series on the video game.
Oh yeah, that Arkham series.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite line of his always will be like, "What do you feel more, Batman? You feel like Gotham, Commissioner Gordon me than me in the panties?" It's like that's so great. I love everything. Like even Harley Quinn. Like I'm happy they gave her Harley Quinn, even though I like her better in a lot of the other stuff. Like it's still so good, and the fact that they took the time with the hero and the villain, giving out complexity to them. Especially if it's being creative. Clayface the whole thing. He had really tragic backstory to him. Like,
Bill, you're awfully quiet over there.
Oh, I can see Bill just waiting.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, they're just
I am a patient man.
I let Bill talk now because I think she probably agreed with me a lot.
I'm gonna turn down my computer quickly.
Because he thinks he's Batman.
I'm ready.
So
I'm Batman.
I'm gonna be honest with you. 1 and 2 were about 0.05 off from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because I am still waiting for my perfect X-Men movie, which is never coming. None of the X-Men movies are really all that good.
Wow.
You can lie to yourself all you want.
Wow.
The first X-Men movie is not really that great. Plus, who directs it ruins everything.
It doesn't help.
X2 is
amazing.
not as good as you remember.
Amazing. I just watched it. It's still amazing.
X1 and 2 and Days of Future Past are freaking awesome. So is First Class.
No, but I mean, ultimately, like outside of some cool stuff with Nightcrawler, the 5 good seconds with Colossus, nothing's really happening. It's kind of boring. It's a typical let's split everyone up to put them back together again. Why not just keep them together? And then there's 3.
No. Just keep going.
And then they actually topped it with Wolverine. Like, how did you pull that off? And then we finally got a good, decent one in First Class, which is still the best out of all of them. And then they shit on it with Days of Future Past.
I disagree, but
And then it actually a downward spiral of garbage until we get to Logan, which is that's it. You got First Class, you got Logan. And what? First Deadpool. That's it. You're telling me 20 years, like 19 fucking movies.
Cut his mic
you
off.
got 2.5 that are good.
Cut him off, Rue.
I
was close with the definition.
Do it.
How is this like for Batman?
Waiting.
Like
throw him out of
like
here.
any one of these good storylines that are not happening. The only reason why that doesn't become my number 1 is because, funny enough, I was rereading Death of the Family the other day.
Okay.
And every time I pick up a comic book, when I'm reading Batman, I hear Kevin Conroy. That is the voice in my head for the rest of my life. hands down. I mean, he nails it. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That show fundamentally changed so much about the Batman lore. We're still not even fully like feeling the effects to this day. I mean, Dr. Freeze was a one-note joke villain, and now he's probably one of the more compelling ones that they have in his roster. I don't need to go on any more about the Joker than it already has. So everything about that speaks for itself. The fact that they whole cloth created an entire new character that became so popular, she just had her own goddamn movie a year ago. When was the last? Tell me the last time the X-Men created somebody that wasn't suck-ass Cable. It was like so popular that they got to put them in a movie. Like it's been a long time.
Recently.
Also, I know everyone likes to harp on, Heart of Ice and some other ones, but everyone is neglecting probably the best episode, and it's the one everyone always forgets about, and it's the Gray Ghost. And here's why the Gray Ghost is wonderful. Number one, it creates a whole new lore for Batman that has never been introduced. Number two, it pays homage to Adam West in the most wonderful way possible. And number three, it also adds in the meta narrative of, you know what, it was okay to like that Batman from the 60s. Because I know everyone has spent since the fucking 70s on trying to like forget that even happened, and they're overdoing it, and now he's just becoming more violent and more dark and more ugly and more mean. And you know what? The Bright Knight, as he has now been referred to, has just as much of a place in the history of Batman as the Dark Knight. And that is a wonderful way to tie them both together. And just some of the scenes are just the scene alone where they go into the cave. And, you know, he's saying, like, you know, you like inspired me. Part of like why I am who I am today is because of you. It is a really lovely tribute. And it was sort of like the beginning of the apology, because Adam West has been shit on since the 60s. And it took to maybe around the turn of this century for us to finally kind of forgive that and go, you know what? No, you're just as valid as everything else. So we don't get the Arkham games. We don't get the Justice League. We don't get Superman. We don't get the DC animated universe. Nothing comes from this. And there's also a point of pointing out that we got another great X-Men series in Wolverine and the X-Men. We have since not gotten another great Batman series. While the Batman was okay, it wasn't great. And then Beware the Batman is a whole other conversation for another time. I mean, that alone just says like why I keep going back to this. I can pick up any random episode, and I'll take the worst Batman episode over the best of most of the other shows. So, rant over.
Solid rant.
Yeah, that's a good mic drop to finish this off, because all four of these shows, which I was hoping somebody would save Gargoyles, but it didn't. All four of these shows are amazing. Me and Anthony ended up saving X-Men. Bill, Manny, and Chris ended up saving Batman, which again I don't blame, even though I did it. And Ryan is the only one who I question a lot, but he saved Spider-Man. Again, my reasoning makes no sense. I would save Batman over Spidey, yet Spidey was number 2 for me. Who cares? It's my show. I don't give a shit. Let's just finish it off quickly. Ryan, any last thoughts and anything you need to plug? Go on ahead.
Yeah, I don't want the comment section to burn any more than it already has, so I'll just save you with this. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, RyanRPM5. Check out my podcast, The Nerdcast. Talk about movies, past and present, well, like there is, because, you know, COVID-19 has ruined everybody's lives. Check that out on Anchor, Google, Spotify. Check out our YouTube channel, Nerd Culture, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, @It's Nerd Culture. This weekend, we are going to be interviewing legendary voice actor Doug Stone, who voiced the legendary character Matt Tracker on Mask from the 1980s, as well as many other characters like Dragonborg on Beetleborg's Metallics. He was the voice of Psycho Mantis in the Metal Gear Solid video game series. He's going to be joining us this Saturday live on our Facebook page @It's Nerd Culture, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So do not miss that, and thanks for having me.
Anytime, sir. Anthony or Bill, again.
I don't have anything else to say because I don't need to get yelled at by Bill anymore, because I'm going to get yelled at by Bill later this week. The only thing I have coming up on Opening Night Trivia League, I get to play. However this works that way. Him, coming up, he's making me watch a horrific movie, and I gave him a gift. So we'll see how that goes. I look forward to it, but I'm around all the leagues with Ru every now and then. I'm on a couple other ones just for trivia, but you'll see me around.
Manny, you have nothing to plug, but any final thoughts?
Yeah, I have my kids that I have to get back to, so yeah, love them to death. But I will say, it feels like I was shitting on X-Men, but it's still great. The one thing that I always will remember and was not brought up at all is when the Juggernaut got his ass whipped by Gladiator in the Phoenix Saga. That hands down was by far one of the one punch was I think you and I just were like blown away. And that is how the Phoenix Saga is supposed to be done. I still haven't seen the movie, and I refuse to. But again, it was hard all across, but appreciate being here, appreciate the continued talk, and yes, I think I might have to go watch it if I have time, which I probably don't. But, yeah.
All right, Senior Bill, Philadelphia.
Why was Electro a Nazi? I will never not bring that up. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Philadelphia PA. I will probably be yelling about other things. Also on Feature Presentation Productions, I host a show called Unearthed, which after a brief hiatus is coming back not the current Monday we are in, but next Monday. Mark Meyer is my guest, and we review Six String Samurai. And if you are not familiar, that is basically what has been referred to as an apocalypse movie, which is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. Where basically it's Buddy Holly with a samurai sword, and he's got to fight his way through an irradiated wasteland. And that's it. It's great. It's like a live action like anime. It's amazing. And there'll be other episodes coming up. And as always, and I'll have you know, Anthony, I gave you the gift of not only bullets but boobs and poisonous snakes contaminated by cancer rats. You're welcome.
Yes, I have that written down in my notebooks, ready to study.
Lovely. Would you have let Brett face that or Boatman? That's their question, Anthony. So there you go.
I would always rather play that.
Yeah, and Chris, any final thoughts? Anything going on with you?
So I will leave my last kicking Spider-Man to the curb. But if you want to see better Spider-Man, go on YouTube. Look, Spectacular Spider-Man. Love the episode on YouTube. It's the better Spider-Man show out there. But aside from that, Batman's great, and you can find me out anywhere. Be on Facebook. I got a few matches coming up. They'll probably be on Movie Mania again sometime soon. So stay tuned for TNG. We do it every Sunday. Very fun. Anybody wants to join in, come on. It's pretty fun. I won twice so far, and it's so fun. And other than that, not much. Just enjoy the week. Stay safe, everybody. Stay excellent to each other. And party on, dude.
Yeah. All right. So last couple of things. Got some stats. Batman was saved the most out of the 11 lists that I was given. Then X-Men 27%. Spidey, I'm guessing that's the one. Maybe 2. Damn, nobody saved Gargoyles. That hurts a little bit. Spidey and Gargoyles had the most out first with 45%. Ryan, I know you were alone in having Batman out. Very smartly, nobody kicked out X-Men. So, as always, before we leave, let's see if I remember this riddle, because this one is a little longer. I had a lot to go to it, but for next week. These 4 choices I have, they're the same, but they're not. It's like when you go up a hill and you go to this nice little town and you go to a deli and you see Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson, and you say, "I'm gonna have what she's having," and it's so good you're gonna take a day off, get some breakfast the next morning, and then realize, you know what, I'm calling into work and give you my 2 weeks notice, and I have so much fun, but by the time you're down that hill, it's become a mountain. I'm done. That's it. A lot to it.
That sounds like a Peggy going to be on this episode.
Yes, sorry, Peggy. Sorry, Peggy. Very, very, very much sorry, Peggy. And with that, we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
See you.
That's it.